Hello, 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 hello. Ah, hi everyone, how are we doing? Don't mind the chair adjusting noises, I'm getting myself settled. I was running around and then I sat down. Oh, can you see me? Can you hear me? Is everything going smoothly? How's Spotify doing? Oh, that is loud Spotify music. Give me a second. Hi! I'm glad you could hear me. How was the... How loud was the music? Hey, lovely, okay. Well, I turned it down in a panic, you see. Uh, let's put it up to... What did I have it at before? Let's try 75. Let me know if that's too loud. Oh, did it seem fine? I panicked. It looked very loud on the visualizer. Visualizer? I'm calling it that. Audio mixer. I think it was at 80. Okay. Tad lower. Okay, properties. Let's put it down to 65. What do I use to record? I use OBS. Fine with me if a little quiet. Ah, okay. Yeah, I've just set it to 65%, so that should be alright. Did I not? Yeah, that'll make it louder. Ah. Got you, KK. I'll check after the stream, okay? If you don't mind, the rest of the stream will be me playing with the audio. Okay. Too loud, yeah. Sorry, gang. Let's see. Advance back down to... Yeah, I changed something in Spotify, so that's gonna make it louder this side. You think 50 might be golden? Let's stick it here. Audio stream. Exactly. Okay. Let me know if that's still problematic. But otherwise, how are we all doing? We are finally back to the Thursday streams. I feel like we were a little bit up in the air there with the all the stuff happening, but we're back to Thursdays. We will be at Thursdays for the foreseeable future until the end of October. But yeah, I think that's all right for now then. Let's see. So, I'm sorry. Sorry about the ear infection. That sucks. Oof. A video for the 21st of September. Good luck. That's a pretty decent amount of time between now and then. I'm sure you'll be able to get it done. Music too loud. Oh no. Okay. Let alone me and Jerry. Well, we can't have that now, can we? Okay, let's try... Okay, so that's 35% because I made it louder on Spotify. So now 35, let's try 25. That much lower. Okay, hang on. In that case, let's try 18. You'd think I'd have done this before I started. Is that okay? That's nice. There we go then. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, and sorry about setting up the stream stuff late as well, and also putting up the poll late as well. This week I've been completely turned around. I thought it was Wednesday when it was Tuesday. I spent most of Tuesday thinking it was Wednesday. I've been doing, I don't know. My brain just did not turn on at some point once the weekend ended. So I've been trucking along, working as I can. But I have been sort of flailing a little bit. So I hope you can forgive me for that. And I'm sure I'll be much better again now that we're back on like a proper schedule. Back to Thursdays. Because I do think the reason I forgot the poll was because I normally do it on Friday, and that's like my main job for the channel on Friday. And then I completely I didn't do Friday because I did the streaming on Friday. Tuesday, innit? How is Twitch? I believe Twitch is alright. I don't actually have to set things up ahead of time on Twitch. I have the Thursday streams planned out on like the weekly schedule, and then I just don't have to refresh that at all. I guess I could. I think I've seen other people do it where they like specifically block out amount of time for like this specific stream, but if there is like they don't make it very obvious that you can do that, so I'm gonna have to do some digging into some settings and see if that's something I can start setting up in the week every week. Yeah. But I think we're gonna be doing okay. I think we are all right for now. Right, so this stream is going to be going over just in general object design. If there's stuff you want to see more of, if there's stuff that you don't know like much about, specifically of the world of Immortal, we're just going to be doing a little bit of that and a little bit of that, and some of it I'll be designing. Maybe like if it's something that you want to see that I haven't like actually put down yet, we can do some brainstorming, try and figure out what that would look like exactly, or we can just go through old stuff that I've got set out and planned out already for the actual like visuals and like tools. We can do worship objects, we can do shelters, buildings, well, you know, small buildings. I have my my paper notes here with me. Funny story about that. They used to be in a folder, a ring binder. And then when I moved in March, I had some very lovely family members helping me who were doing it because I really needed the help. And the box that them and a bunch of my other like books and stuff were in rolled off the car and got run over, so the binder got kind of mangled. All the paper survived, everything's fine. It just means that I needed to get a new, like I had to kind of break them free of like the rings had kind of like been almost like sealed, not sealed, but like they were like warped and bent, so I had to kind of like free them from that and then find a new binder for them, and then I never did, so they've just been sitting in a loose pile on the shelf next to my desk, which is a pretty funny story now that I think about it, but it is yeah. So if you hear me rustling around and you hear papers in the background, that's definitely me looking through like 150 loose sheaves of paper. Yes, Jerry is now a regular host. I've put him in the background though, so he cannot supersede me. I'm the one you're here for. Sometimes. Yeah, there you go. I can hear him. I don't know if you guys can. But he's there. Oh, trust me, he's there. Yeah, sure did put me in a binder, yeah. Soon, Jerry. No. For as long as I live and breathe, Jerry will not take over the channel. Me and the squeaky ceiling fan that is Jerry. Right, so interestingly enough, this was done a long time ago, all the objects that you can see here. And it was part of some work I did to sort of practice my concept art, and it was to break out, it's called like object calling out. So you take like specific elements, you take specific objects, and then you just call them out, and just draw them on their own. You can do them in like different angles and that, and it's just so that you can see the objects better. Typically it's done when you draw like a bigger scene, and then you take specific elements of that scene, and then you can also play around with them conceptually and that. So here you can see like two concepts, which one was weapon racks specifically. So you've got all the different examples here of like how that could possibly look visually, and then down here you have your fireplaces. This is actually based on a modern type of fireplace, and it's like self-feeding, because the idea is that the fire is here, and then as it burns up the logs, more get fed into it, because it's just on a, you know, on an incline, which I thought was pretty fun. I thought that would be like pretty unique for like a little bit of ingenuity just like in the design of like the fireplaces. But honestly, if I have to be more realistic, it would probably be something, maybe this is a bit too basic. Whoop, hang on. Maybe that's a bit too basic. It would probably be something more like this if there was a lot of wind shear. But is wind shear the right term? You know, if it was quite windy, they needed to like protect it from the elements. And then maybe something more like this if they needed to, again, protect from the elements, and then also be able to cook and prepare things on that holster stick thingy. You know, the thingy. You know. So I cannot guarantee that the objects we'll be making today will in any way have the same level of detail as these as well. I did have the most fun with the tools. These are also not very realistic tools for the time period as well. I believe hafting tools especially was not really designed for the time yet. Or maybe I'm misremembering. That's a pretty big thing to misremember, actually. Maybe I should stop everything we're Googling. Because there's a couple of things where I first did the work for it, where I wrote it down as like a certain point in time, only to then find out, no, it was later, or it was earlier, or like it was done here but not here. And so this is again why I write things down. Not that it's helping me right now. Well, it says here, South African Homo sapiens were hafting around 500,000 years ago. But that is Wikipedia. They could be wrong. Yeah, no, most of this is just going to say, yeah, hafting evidence 500,000 years. That's pretty cool. Half just means attached to a stake. Yeah. No, absolutely. So it is just like... Were they socketing tool heads in the Neolithic? Yeah, could you tell me? That'd be great. Does half just mean attached? It does just mean attached to a stake. I do know that. It's a specific kind of hafting, isn't it? Ah, I'm confusing myself. I'm sorry. Hang on, I'm getting the papers. I sure hope you can hear the paper noises. Right, and then of course they would also have tar pitch glue. Which is a Neanderthal technology, if I'm also remembering that right. Increase in... and then of course scrapers would just have them with bones on their own. Yeah. Right, yeah. Socketed stone, mace heads appear in the Neolithic. Yeah. It's a... I know they won't be super advanced, is the thing. Yeah. So I'll show you guys what I have so far, and then we can branch out from there a little bit. Let's pick a nice color for this. Oh, lovely. Okay. And if I do get any information wrong during the stream, which I'm sure I will at least once, if not more, don't be afraid to call me out on it. I'm trying to learn, but I am learning very slowly and inefficiently. Okay, so we have our spears specifically. We've got the tar pitch, which is being represented through these darling little scribbles. And wrapped with, I can't actually decide, sinew or, I suppose they wouldn't really, yeah, vines would be, I think, very easy to damage unless they were prepared in a certain way. Or like not strong enough. It would probably be something more like sinew, I imagine. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. They even have, records of arrows being done in the same way. Nah, bowstrings, that's what I'm thinking of. Oh no, this is gonna be a long stream, gang. Yeah, sinew is the right one. And then you would have your long stick. Oh, and let me look up the proper terminology for the tool as well. Hang on. Mace heads, right. Sorry. Yeah, please do. Sorry, put a picture of a Neolithic mace head in the Discord. That'd be very cool to see. The problem with like doing a lot of my research online is that I tend to assume that there's like a decent room for error for everything, but then what happens is that results in me not knowing if I know something for sure for quite a lot of what I'm looking at. And of course the reasonable thing to do after that is go to Vincent and say, hello, could you help me? Is this correct? And I do not do that nearly enough. Action case. Chapter. Right. Efficiency is for the Borg and they don't show up in this time period. If you say so. Okay. Right, okay, so of course we have our façonnage. Completely forgotten how to... I should watch my own video. I've completely forgotten how to pronounce things. Yeah, so façonnage, indirect percussion, which means we get our lovely clean shape here with a little bit more finesse to it. And then we get... Well, let's not do that. Let's block that layer. And then we get the symbolic spear, which used to be the design for the original spears, but it's very impractical and very unrealistic. It's not very useful as an actual weapon or hunting tool. So we changed it around so that now it is a symbolic item that the Elder Speaker carries. The Elder Speaker in the first arc being Mott, if you remember. Yeah, sinew. Okay. Yeah. That's the thing. It's it's that like little bit of doubt, like, oh, I never actually checked if the thing I looked up was real. Even though it pretty much is, and I've said it is before in the past. Yeah. I doubt myself a little too much in these things, but maybe that's a good thing. It means I'm not gonna make... Well, I am gonna make dumb mistakes, but I'm not gonna make really dumb mistakes. Probably. Maybe. Most of the time. Okay, fine. Yeah. So... There we go. That's a symbolic spear that you could absolutely use as a mace if you really had to. It would probably snap off into whatever it is you're hitting, but that's also fine. Right, and then moving on to one more little Google search. Right, okay. Moving on. So their fishhooks can't be made out of stone yet because they haven't created the microfiche technique, if I'm remembering the term right. Look at me, I'm remembering. I'm evolving. I'm growing. It was with the burn. It's fine. Right, the micro burn technique. Microfiche? I wonder where I got that one from. So the microfiche technique would have allowed them to create very like finely tuned stone tools. So they would have been able to create things like incredibly, well, to create stone fishing hooks. But since that's not entirely possible for them now, because they do not have that technology quite yet, they will instead be using your regular old fishbone hooks. It was very difficult to find imagery for this as well, so I do hope it's somewhat correct. So that you can see there's still like a little bit of like scratching and shaping and like an attempt to make a hook sort of shape with the like little extra bit there, which I'm not entirely sure is maybe more of a modern idea. I sure hope this whole stream isn't just people fact checking me. It might very well be. Probably sinew again, although I'm not sure how it would hold up in water. The good part of having a weapon is that people know you have a weapon. Maybe the weapon itself is not very usable, but having a scary weapon in and of itself might prevent fights. You're not too wrong, yeah. Fear is very much a tool of battle, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the most painful things you can inflict and the most debilitating things aren't the things. Yeah, you're not right. You're not wrong, you're not wrong. I think the downside to this one is that you wouldn't be able to the ceremonial spear is that you wouldn't be able to reuse it again after you've beaten someone to death with it. Okay, so we've got our fish hooks. What came first, the fish or the bone? It would probably be made out of a different kind of bone. Let's see, and then the other thing is this will be a mix between I can't forget things that I looked at last week. That's actually not fun for me. I talked about this in the architecture stream with Bipleridian. I need to remember things better. It's the name of the tool. Adze. So this is going to be a bit of a mix between the Adze, a mix between the axe, even though the Adze was technically a mix between axe and hoe. And then this would be used through one of the bones of a larger mammal. You see why I need my notes? I have to actually look things up now. Make sure I'm getting things correct. Hi TC! No worries. No such thing as being late. You arrive precisely when you're meant to. Okay. And then this is where the question of hafting comes in, although this is almost definitely... Even if it is a very, like, shoddy put together version, the fact that they have an adhesive of some kind makes things a lot easier. Right, okay. I love a good Adze as a weapon. Yeah, pine tar pitch glue. Yeah! We're taking it from the Neanderthals. It's like they never even had it. In my universe, Homo sapiens rule. Oh. The issue is that my Homo sapiens stand-ins live in an area with very, very little trees. Or at least the culture that Tala meets at some point lived surrounded by very few trees. So they likely wouldn't have had the ability to develop that kind of technology and use a slightly different method instead for their tool building. I haven't fleshed that part out yet, so please don't take me at my word. Okay. I should label these. I'll forget what they are. I mean, I won't, but still good, still good. Oh, dang, which one's this one? Again. Spar? Okay. Ooh, and then we get to, this is one of my favorite ones, our good old sickle. Okay, well, hang on. There's two kind of versions of this that I have. Really good hunting tool. Give me a sec. I'm not yawning, you're yawning. Where at one point I had it so that you had... It was a regular animal horn, right? With sort of a bound up sort of entire bit to it. And then it had these stone scrapers that were kind of, well, not scrapers, that's not what their name would be, but sharpened stone filaments on the side of it, and then that would be used as a sickle. But recently I heard about using every part of the deer meant that you could just remove the entire jaws of the animal, and then because their teeth were evolved to be able to you know, cut through vegetation quite efficiently, you could just turn those teeth on the jaw into a tool in and of itself. So I thought that was sick as hell, and that's what we're doing now. So that is our sickle. And then there's even a natural curve to it, because that's what the rest of it would have been as well. I don't know, it's a little bit morbid, I understand. But it's sick. If you draw a hammer next to that sickle, you get cave comrades. Aye, comrade. I think hammers would just be stones though. You pick up a good stone, it's got a good weight, you smack it on top of something, and now you gotta, that's it. So it's not quite the iconography you're looking for. Let's see, what else? Right. Right. Oh, I never did make any snares. Karl Marx's Ooga Booga. Morbid? Nah, it's resourceful. Let's see. Sikuru. Okay. Then we get our axes. And these are also quite a different shape from what I originally designed them to look like. And these are definitely stuff that like you'll see in older shorts as well. Because I was just making shorts as I was like doing the work for things. Which means that some of them are kind of incorrect and some of them are outdated now as well. Hey! Hello, hello! Some action on Twitch. Hello. Atlatl of... I have actually never heard of the Atlatl. If I'm pronouncing that correct. Ah, is it because it's American? Native American? Oh, by Australian Bushmen. And Eskimos. Oh wow, that's sick. Right! The spears that you throw. That's cool. God, I saw those so long ago. And then, you know, because I'm a coward, my nomads could never have that power. They could never have access to such wealth. Larger prey, yeah. Yeah, I think it was because they weren't actually developed in Europe. I was sticking pretty close to European development, European tech levels, like the point where things were discovered, where things were used. I think that's the reason they don't have bows, even though bows were quite an old discovery. Dating, again, South Africa, absolutely killing it in the Paleolithic period. Had bows very early on. But yeah, it was not quite in Europe until much later. So what you gonna do? You gotta stick with the Europeans. I am a coward. So the idea is that you split this piece of wood down the center, right? And then you bound it together here to stop it from splitting anymore. And then this is what I meant by hafted tools as well, because then this is just attached to the stick. Whereas, yeah, the adze is also as well attached to a stick. But then you also get, yeah, and the spears as well, so I don't even know why I was worried. But the sickle specifically, the fishhooks, awls as well, are not really in common use by this point as well, if I'm, again, remembering that correctly, which I should be, because that is what I've built most of the fashion for the nomads, based on the idea that they wouldn't have access to awls and to stitching. So I sure hope I'm not wrong about that. Oh wow, I'm sorry. That's crazy. I hope it wasn't too scary, or like for terrible reasons. Sorry, sorry, your school got evacuated. Aztec. Ah, I see, yes. Oh, I'm glad. Okay, as long as it wasn't very dangerous. I'm glad. Okay. But still, very annoying. I understand completely. Okay, and then, of course, at the top here, you let it a bit extra, and then you again have... And of course, there'll be tar pitch along the entire area here to make sure nothing moves. See, now that doesn't feel very real. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board for that one, I think, maybe. See, because it feels like it would just fall out. Because it is stone, so it's quite heavy. I don't think the glue would hold it that well. Maybe it was... like that. But then again, I feel like it would just fall out. Huh. Where did I get the original design for this? Ah, it's fine. Fine, it's fine. Oh wow. The Inuit had spears with detachable spearheads so they wouldn't lose the hard to get wooden shot. That makes sense, but that's so crazy to think about. Yeah, I have sketches of all of this in my notes, which is what I'm using to put everything down here. And then some of the sketches, I'm flipping through the pages because some of the sketches are outdated, even by the point that I was like making them, like from the shorts and that. I also have the page that I used to like sketch out the short as well, so that's that's fun. It's all in the folder. Okay, I think, yeah, and then as far as knives and that go, again we're going for the façonnage technique. And then maybe some sinew on the handle for like a better grip. But it is an entirely optional aspect of it. And it probably wouldn't be that shape either. Yeah. I've been thinking for a while I should maybe revisit all of the tools and that I've done, because now that I'm drawing it again, especially like on stream, I am realizing I know, but I don't know, you know? From shorts creator to streamer, I know how we grow. From short form to long form. Draw a butterfly. Butterfly's not going to be that much different though. Let's see, you got the short front, long back. But you know, the viewer knows what the viewer wants. And who am I to argue? This is a fantasy species of butterfly, by the way. Definitely can't think of any one species off the top of my head. Behold, the most famous tool of the Paleolithic, the butterfly. By all means, the butterfly shouldn't be able to fly. Its tiny wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The butterfly, of course, flies anyways, because the butterfly does not care what humans think. Aha! Final form 12-hour video essays. I'm still waiting for like this year's this year's video from I can't forget their name. I cannot make a single joke because I forget the name of everything I've ever seen in my entire life. I love my long form YouTubers and their yearly upload. Oh, that's not the quote? Yeah. You think I can remember quotes of like whole things when I can't even remember the names of people? Yeah, H-Bomber Guy. You know H-Bomber Guy, the famous YouTuber who uploads once a year? Yeah. I can't keep re-watching his videos. I need something new. Please draw low-quality subpar copper. I know why you want that. This is also not of the time. Ian Azir was not around 40,000 years ago. It's got like dents. A little bit of tin in there. I mean, there isn't. That's not historically accurate. But it'd be funny if there was. He ran out of space. There you go. Didn't Native Americans have native copper? Not in the Paleolithic, they didn't. Not 40,000 years ago. There you go. You go in the non-canon corner. Okay. Let's see, what else can we... Ooh, right, torches. Torches and candles. Candles are fun. Because as useful as they were, they're pretty annoying to transport, because they are essentially just stones with shallow parts carved into them. And this is based on, obviously history, of course, but it's based specifically on the study that a bunch of students did to sort of experiment with like what this specific kind of like candle and like this kind of tool would look like and be used as in the for the time. And 13,000 years ago they did. Okay, that's pretty cool. That is very early. That means they reached the Chalcolithic really quickly. Sorry, the Native American copper is what I mean. So, it's important to note that they were not clay, not these specific ones. They were stone. So the dip probably wouldn't have been as intense as what I've shown here. It probably would have been, what can I do to make it more shallow? Like, we're basically looking at like a stone with a little bit of like a very, 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 very shallow little dip like that. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, not perfectly centered, not perfectly made for this. Definitely like a little bit more oblong. They took a natural rock and then they like, potentially they found one that already had a bit of a divot in it. Because I don't think they would have had the technology, like the grinding tool necessary to be able to like grind a hole into it like that. Unless they did it in a different way. Anyway, they would place animal fat in the center here, and then they would use very small twigs that had also sort of been in contact or dipped into the fat, or resin. And then that would burn. And then that would make a little candle. And I think that's really cute. Quite bright, so it could light a small room, small cave, small shelter. But it wouldn't spread super far, and definitely would not be preferable to an actual like fire. It would be more preferable in a cave where a fire might suck up the oxygen. It might not be super practical. They might be too far in to be able to properly light one without the smoke just filling up the whole cave. You know what I mean? So they would have had something like this. Although, yeah, I don't know how much smoke it would actually have made, because it would have made some. This isn't a smokeless fire. Saw a guy make a tallow candle out of a cow horn. That's sick. That's like traveling. For traveling, I mean. I did come up with a concept for a traveling torch, which was a series, like a bundle of straw and sticks together, both of them together, so that the straw would burn quicker, but then the sticks would actually catch light. Because straw doesn't really catch light; it burns very briefly, and it's like hair or pine needles. That would also be an option. And then it would be. They would get some bark and they would wrap it around. And then that would be a bit of a protective part to hold, because it wouldn't get super hot. And then, yeah, the idea is that it slowly burns through first the pine needles or the grass, then it gets through the twigs, and then it will slowly eat through the bark, and the bark would be the hardiest part that would eat, go up slower. I have no clue if this would work in real life, because this is just something I came up with. But that was the concept, and unless anyone tells me that it's absolutely stupid, I'm gonna end up sticking with it, so I'm easily swayed by my peers. Best we can do is it's on fire. Oh, and then you also get the Ember bundle, which is... See, now this is hard to portray visually. So ideally you would have a single coal, right? Little ember, something from the fire that you would scoop up, and maybe you'd have a couple of them here. And then you would wrap them up in a mixture of sticks, moss, leaves, bark, and twigs. There's also a very specific mushroom you can use, but again, I think that was a very specific area, or in America. It was, I think, the wood mushroom, something like that. So you couldn't really do it like that. Can we tell you it's stupid and not elaborate? No, you have to elaborate. You have to give reason. It's like an essay. You have to provide your reasoning behind your statement. Otherwise, I will not accept it. Anyway, so it's wrapped up in all this bundle of stuff, and it's not super impressive looking. It's just a thing of leaves and sticks and mud and, well, not mud, but it's, you know what I mean. It's moss and all that sort of stuff. And then that is wrapped up in something else. So it can be skin, it can be... You know what, y'all? Shane is right. The torch is too woke. Oh, I'm so sorry, gang. Oh, no. Well, now it has to go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice while it lasted. Yeah. Who am I if not someone who caves to whoever just calls me woke? I don't want to be that one friend who's too woke, you know? Sorry. I really hate that statement. Makes me angry. But that's okay. This is not the time nor the place. Anyway, so you wrap it all up in animal skin, something, furs, something that preferably won't burn super easily and can contain the heat. The original design was to be in a pouch like this that could then be hung around the neck. But then that would require stitching for the pouch to exist. And so they do not stitch, and so I could not do that. So we have instead just a nice little bundle of animal skin, and then that's probably tied up with something. And then the idea is that you're able to carry that for about 12 hours, and then it makes for an easy starter. Fire starter, I mean. Okay, now I am gonna have to label that, because that just looks like nothing. Hang on. Whee. Are whale bones useful for tools? I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Any bone is useful for a tool. You can do a lot of stuff with bones. So I'm sure whale bones are absolutely no exception. Have fun with work. Well, good luck with work. See ya. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. There we go. Justice for Torchy. Spear the torches. You're absolutely right. Did I not mention that? I actually wrote it down. Yeah, the idea is that the hay and the twigs on the inside are also smeared with resin, in the same way that the candle is, so that they burn longer. Did I not say that? Oh, I feel dumb. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm not yawning. I don't know why I'm yawning. This is the same time as it always is for me. And then, of course, this isn't really a tool, but it is a fun method. Where specifically I wanted air drying to be one of the more commonly used ways to sorry, I'm laughing at my notes. I wrote down makes biltong. That's not what it makes. Right, so the idea is that you can essentially air dry your meat, and I've talked about this a couple times already, so I'm not going to go into this huge amount of detail about it. But essentially this is a longer piece of animal skin, rope, and then of course it's not super long, so it has to be tied together as you go. And then you take that, give me a second, I'm looking at things. And then you take your cuts of meat, and then you are essentially tying it to the rope. Let me actually figure out, hang on. It looks wrong, but I know this would work in real life. So it hangs over, but then it's secured here, like you know, laundry on a line. And then you get your different cuts of meat here. and they have to be cut quite thin in order to dry properly. So they are cut quite thin. They're essentially, you are essentially making like jerky, and then you place them in an area with good ventilation, lots of like nice breezes, but not like a huge amount of wind. And then it's got to be quite warm as well in order for, like, it's got to be kind of the perfect environment, which is kind of difficult to get in real life. Like, don't try this at home, because every single source I've looked at recommends that you do this like in a shed with like the perfect like in like humidifiers, dehumidifiers, like heaters, like perfect like temperature controlled space, in order to like not make yourself terribly sick. But this isn't something that they were able to do, but this is like, obviously they had to do this all outdoors, but this was a practice that was around for quite a long time. And then the idea is that that just dries on the line. Again, like laundry, it cannot get rained on, that will ruin everything. That's not jerky summoned me. Good night, I can't come up with a good username. You and I have much in common. Ooh, tried napping rocks today just for some fun, and safe to say I now have a new appreciation for Stone Age toolmakers. I know, it really was, because the actual tools they had on hand weren't like super sophisticated, all of it was in the technique, which is like it's super cool to think about. Like, the fact that we got there at all is insane. And it sucks that people think it's so like nothing and like primitive, like, oh, you know, if you locked me on a desert island I'd probably be able to figure it out, but it's like, no, this is, you know, a practice that, you know, these people would spend their lives perfecting. And I think that's cool. I think that's great. I want to at least be able to have like at least show a little bit of appreciation for how complex that practice was. Let's see. Yeah, I've done candles, drying meat. Ooh, hang on. This is one of the cool ones. Where is my paper? Here it is. So, in the theme of your goddess, Venus figures. You hit Rocky for fun? You hit Rocky like the football? Ah, mate. Oh, that's cool. I can imagine being a kid in the Neolithic and being so frustrated because none of my stone tools came out properly. Ah, that's such a cool point. I genuinely cannot remember if this is something that I maybe like read as a think piece on the internet somewhere, or if I just like thought of it ages ago, wrote it down and forgot it completely. But yeah, no, absolutely. That idea of every student striving to, so the idea of like the student, the child, the, you know, whoever, the person learning, striving to reach the sort of prowess of their teacher, their predecessor, and the concept of them just constantly pushing to be better, to prove to their mentor, to prove to themselves, to, you know, or even just for the love of the craft, and just like that constant pushing from the very like dawn of time has pushed us so far throughout all of our history and through every discipline. And I think that's amazing. I think that's such a human desire to want to not only be creative for the sake of being creative, but also wanting to learn from your parents and learn from your teachers and be able to do exactly what they do, because when you're young, it seems so impossible. And I say this, you know, as an artist. When I was a kid, I thought like art was so incredibly cool. And my mother was an artist, and I thought that what she did was so amazing. And so like completely unbelievable, and something that I always wanted to do, and I never really let myself think that I would never be able to. But for sure, like the desire to be at her level was something that pushed me through so much of like the early process of like learning how to be an artist, and like being a young kid like learning how to draw. And it's to think that that is an experience that goes back as far as any skill has ever existed. And again, to like the art of making tools and the practice of making tools, and the fact that it was such a fine technique and such a difficult thing to accomplish, and to have that be sort of for someone the ultimate skill that they would spend their life making, working towards. And that's so cool. I don't know, it was kind of a big thing for me when I first, like, I don't know, thought about it or saw someone write about it or something like that. It stuck with me in a way where it's something that I think about every time I think about like stone tools now and like making stone tools, like the thought of that. But like it's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the student has become the master. Like that wanting to become the master. It's sick. It's a cool thing. I like that a lot. If I can, I want to include it in Immortal in some form. Like that. Like I'm not putting it across in like a very economical way. I'm not like describing it super efficiently, but like if I can actually sit down and script out that feeling and that arc and that goal, I'd like to be able to do that in the comic at least once. Maybe not in the Paleolithic, maybe something more closer to the Neolithic, since that's when we reached a lot of like newer milestones. That like is what I mean when I mean like that pushing forward of like development and yeah, no, but that's yeah. Oh no. What are you guys saying? Trepans your Neolithic OC cutely. Hey, that's my job. uh, Generational learning, yeah. Oh, thank you, gang. You're all very sweet. Except for the trepanning comment. Hannah something became like Hannah's mother in THR. Taller training arc, yeah. I've forgotten the song. It'll come to me. Give me a second. Ah, the moment's passed. What is trepanning? It is the act of drilling a hole in someone's head. Don't tell anyone I know that. Very obscure knowledge. And the difference between this guy is that he is actually made out of clay. Not fired clay, but just regular clay. Which means he is relatively fragile, so has to be bundled up every time our nomads move anyway. Because he is essentially just air-dried mud. Although I suppose you could make the argument that he's got some hay or something in him to make him a little bit more sturdy. Maybe some stones. A little bit of polishing. Which is, I believe, different to the Venus figures, because I do think the Venus figures are made out of stronger stuff. So, we've got our Hunter God. Ta-da! So, we've got our little statuette. As you can see, there's a symbol painted on his face. And then the rest of his body is quite plain. But whenever our nomads settle in a new place, they set him up, they prop him up somewhere very social, near the hearth fire, well, the main fire, or in the cave close by, if there happens to be one. Just somewhere people often are, or gather for the evenings. And then people will drape him in whatever ephemerals happen to be available. And it's a way to fortify the area they're in. It's a way to sort of pray for personal things. Small way to sort of worship. And then if the band's big enough, this little guy will just be covered in covered in them to the point where you can't really recognize them anymore in there. And then when they move off, to ensure safe travels, they take off all the ephemerals. Ephemerals, I'm pretty sure is how you're supposed to pronounce it, but in my head I've been calling ephemerals for so long, I don't think I can call them anything else now. And yeah, they take them all off, they set fire to them, and it ensures them safe passage to their next location. That's the idea, at least. They don't throw the statuette in there. The statuette stays. Baymax. Yeah, kind of. I was basing it more on the Venus figures, but sure. Hang on, this might glitch things out a bit for a second. There we go. Yeah, Venus figurines. Baymax. I think that's an unfortunate mix of my art style, kind of meeting the concept of making these like larger figurines, which are interestingly universal across Europe, and I think even further. Holofel. Yeah. Sorry, don't want to, you know, go against YouTube's guidelines here. No. Yeah. Venus of Willendorf mentioned. Yeah. No, but I see the Baymax. I see the Baymax accusations. I accept them. You're correct. Somewhat. Demonetized. No, it's fine. I don't monetize these streams anyway. Yeah. I like the Hunter God. It's a very interesting thing to play with the idea of dual gods, especially when you can kind of cleanly split it across. I mean, obviously you could do like pretty much everything can be dual, so it's like picking the actual things they are the dual gods are wait. So like picking the things that are them specifically and like trying to make sure that it's not just arbitrary. Climax. Anyway. Yeah. One more time. You sound EP. What would their beds be? Great question. Great question, actually. I love that question. Give me a second. Give me 2 more seconds. I'm gonna have to extend some stuff. The Ian Azir copper goes over here. So their beds. Hang on, I gotta ruffle through some papers again, even though I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this. Right, so their beds are pretty simplistic in the fact that they are, of course, just essentially animal pelts on top of dry grass. The grass is very easy to source. The trouble is in winter, where they don't have access to as much of it as they used to, so they got to gather it beforehand and then keep hold of it. So essentially, they find a place before the winter comes, and then they, the Game of Thrones winter is coming, yada yada yada. Gather the grasses, make sure they dry properly, don't rot, don't get rained on or anything like that, and then they make sure that they have enough of it for the winter. Otherwise, they just have to like bulk up on pelts, which is a lot harder. They're a lot harder to source pelts. So yeah, you do just have nice little bundle, and then you just have your animal skins here. And if it's a nice sunny warm evening, they can take their clothing and also add it to the pile. If it is not warm and is in fact very cold, they have to bundle up lying just directly on the straw with all of the with all of the pelts on top of them or wrapped around them in some way. In wooded areas, it's kind of easier in winter to get dry vegetation. True. They are not in that area during winter. Kind of. Yay. Wouldn't be super hard to source. But that's my that's my logic, and I'm sticking to it. It also depends on how heavy their winters are, I suppose. In my defense, I've never been in a proper, like, snowy winter in my life. So if I do get some facts incorrect about it, that's probably why. I can only know so much of what I don't know. That's what you guys are here for. I'm gonna start running everything through the streams. And then if people yell at me, I'll know I'm wrong. Oh, that sounds like a healthy way to do this. Sleeping pile, yeah. So then also, there's no like rule that their bed has to be a shape, right? So it really will just turn into a giant like sleeping pile. It's a sleeping pile, you know. You get like 4 to 6 people. You bundle them all up. Oh, had bulldozers make tunnels of snow before. Because I suppose the area that they're in would essentially be, specifically for winter, it would technically be quite similar to France. Might be a bit more north than France. So I guess maybe London? I'm not very good at geography, give me a second. A puppy pile. But it wasn't winter nor a grassland. Yeah. Okay. Big old pile. And then we get to the houses. The houses have changed a lot. Their design specifically has been very simplified down from what I first, drew out. The original design looked a lot more like it was a half moon shape, which I know I've done here, but that's different. You'll see why. It was essentially like one flat wall with, your door here that was made out of 2 branches tied together, and then you had your grass rooftop, and then the walls would just be made out of mud and sticks, and then again one flat wall and then one curved inside, so then it would kind of look like that. And that's by no means a terrible a terrible shelter. I feel it's fairly realistic, but it is also kind of ugly. A people pile of one bay. Exactly. So here we are essentially getting something more like, let's draw it properly. It is your same half moon shape, but it's completely open on the one side. If they absolutely have to out of, you know, if it happens to be raining in their direction, if there's like something, you know, hailing or anything like that, they can essentially sort of nail, I say nail in a very loose sense, you'll see why in a second. The whole structure is made out of dried grasses. And so this is, of course, again, you gotta source your dry grasses. And if it is as easy as you say, it shouldn't be too difficult. The plan was for them to do something different in winter, but if it's not that hard, then it couldn't be too difficult. You can see how far along in the creative process we are. I've got pretty much an answer for everything, except for when I don't. And then we've just got a very normal sort of half arc. And so it keeps itself supported. There's sticks on the inside pointing straight up that keep its structure intact. So it's a little bit of a wattle and daub without the door. A wattle and daub without the door. So it's at least bound to it. And then willowy branches or something similar to keep things intact when you have them to. So the idea is that they are temporary. And they only need to keep standing for a couple of months at most. Which is why they kind of look very flimsy and could absolutely like be struck down in a very fast wind. But yeah, the intention is that they're quick to build, they're not very resource heavy, and then of course they just protect from the rain should it start coming down. Pierogi house? Whoa! Hi, Even Racing! Thank you. Thank you for watching. Sorry you could only look. That's okay. The important thing is that you were here. And I was here. And we were all here. Bye! Bye! I'm mildly concerned. Don't be. Why would you be? I'm into that Mobius strip bed. Shelter. No. I need to Google something. What's a pierogi? Ah, that would be tasty. I like anything dumplings. A savory or sweet garnish? Oh, I'm gonna make this. Yeah, I'm gonna make this. Yeah, I'm gonna make. If there's ever a food I've never there's no hope of me ever finding it locally. I make it and I pray. I love dumplings. Salt, butter, water, potatoes, salt, butter, cheese, pepper, lots of salt. More salt, onions, sour cream, parsley. Oh no, that's so easy. I can make that. I once made gyoza, which was very fun. It took so long. Pierogi stream win. That would be so fun. I could never though. 1, I'd have to show my face. 2, I'd have to somehow set up streaming video equipment in my kitchen, and that is never gonna happen. I have a camera, but that's never gonna happen. The tripod broke. Ooh. Oh, okay, I've got a volunteer. Someone will make it for me. It's okay. Oh, I'm gonna make a pretzel. I have the recipe written down. A soft pretzel. It's not that hard, weirdly enough. It's just the fact that you got to get a whole pot of water and fill it with bicarb and then like boil the dough in it for like a little bit of time. It's like that's the thing that keeps stopping me, because that sounds like a lot of work. And I haven't had a lot of time. I've been meaning to make samosas for, I'm gonna say, 6 months now. And I just don't have the time. Like I've never had like a weekend where I've sat down and gone, oh, you know what? I have time to make 34 samosas. In the same way, I haven't been able to do that with like, oh, I've got the time to, you know, make soft pretzels. I'll have to do it. You just have to show your hands. But then the camera will be where my head's supposed to be, and then I won't be able to see. And then but then what about when I move to the other places in the kitchen, like the stove? Now pretzel stream. Yeah, no. I need lye for pretzels? That's not in the recipe I had. Lye? Is that not bicarbonate of soda? Isn't that an ingredient in soap? It is! So it's soda bicarb. That's all you need. Okay, well it's a different pH level, but that's fine. Oh, it makes it like browner? Crispier? This is literally a guide on like what lye versus baking soda does to a soft pretzel. This is the most fortunate. Could not have asked for a better visual for my... Literally exactly what we're looking for. I would probably do lye. Okay. Bye Oliver. Ah well. Thank you for watching. It's a crazy difference. I'll have to go with baking soda because I've never in my life heard of lye being like sold in my local grocery store. Grocery shop. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're the hay fields. The hay fan. The grass fan. These are some interesting objects you're drawing, I know, right? House. Let's see. Torch. Bed. Drying beat. Let's see. Oh, would they dig a little divot in the soil to be protected by the wind? Probably. The way I have it structured so far is that you will find sort of circles of these different smaller shelters that have been built. So ideally, with the backs facing outward, and then that would help with most things like wind. So, you know, it comes in here, goes over like that. Comes in here, goes over like that. And that's the concept. So they're done in half circles or full circles, and then they just kind of group out like that. Which also would be quite interesting to split things up socially. Is it by family? Is it by social hierarchy? It probably won't be. They don't have much of a social hierarchy. The hammer looks a bit anticlimactic, yeah. You gotta be practical. Oh. Okay. Oh wow, so they're called lye bread in German? That's so interesting. I've literally never heard of lye being used for any kind of baking. Oh, what is the theme of these drawings? These are just objects, just stuff. We've mostly just been dealing with objects that I've like object work that I've been doing for the comic I'm making, Immortal. Specifically because it's set in the Paleolithic. It's, you know, so it's been fun to kind of look at how things are so different from back then, and like look at the different objects that they would use on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, so we're playing around with that. But I am taking requests if anyone wants to see anything specific. Mostly because I think I've run out of ideas. I have to go shuffling through papers again. Ooh, would I ever consider making a soundtrack for Immortal? I mean, maybe. I haven't considered it, if I'm being honest, because it's a comic, so the format's not quite right for a soundtrack. I wonder. Do you mean out of completely original sound, original tracks, or do you mean more of like a compilation of like stuff that is the vibe for it? I don't know why I said it like that. It's the vibe for it. It's just evanescence. Ah, a book in the Paleolithic in which the protagonist saw a hollowed out hill. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's sick. That's that's the fun part. It's most of the stuff you see nowadays that is like considered you know, like Stone Age, prehistoric, is from the Neolithic. But occasionally you get to see some Paleolithic stuff, which is very cool. Is the hammer just a rock? Yeah. It's a... yeah, it's just a rock. Is Immortal pre or post pottery? Very, very pre. Very pre pottery. Pottery was only developed in the Neolithic period, so the fact that we're in the Paleolithic means it's not even an option at the moment. Where are my papers? Where have I put you? Oh, the masks. I haven't done a mask in ages. Hang on. We're going back to COVID, gang. Oh, either or. Okay, okay. You know, an OST would be very cool. Definitely a side quest that will have to wait until after I actually start on the main one. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it. I always hear the Majora's Mask theme when you show or draw the wild god. That's cool. I like that. Because it is just, it's... The wild god is... I do play favorites between the hunter and the wild god, and it is the wild god, but that's just because I like eldritch beasts. Let's see. Right, so the masks. So the idea, right, is that these masks are used primarily for storytelling, and so they embody the characters that are being talked about in the story. And they're very simple. Again, it's not something that you want to carry around for very long distances, so they'll be made on location and then left behind, or even burned in the fire that they burn the ephemerals in afterwards. I haven't decided yet. I don't know how much like significance there would be here. Typically you get the idea that like the image of something has a spirit of it inside. That's like a pretty common belief across cultures. But again, that's not something I feel would be, or it's not something I've considered so deeply. Like I'm bringing it up now, but it's not something I've like thought about extensively. So you'll get a piece of bark, and then of course you'll pick something that has fairly soft bark. You'll cut out the corners of it. It would not be as clean as this in real life. It would probably be much more like jagged and edged, much less cool. And then the paint would be, again, quite simple, so it would probably just be one color. It wouldn't be multiple. Maybe over time, if they get access to, like, oh, we found some ochre locally and we've already painted the mask, we're going to add some extra detailing to it in a different color. But ideally, again, they're quite simple. So you'll have, for example, if it's a story about the hunter god, it'll just be a very simple. You'll have the sigil here, and then that's quite harmless because they put that mark everywhere. So again, it wouldn't feel like capturing the soul of something. It would just be a representative mark. Whereas if they were making a mask of the wild god, it would probably be handled a little bit more delicately. In fact, I don't know if they even would. Probably not, if I have to say, actually. And then, yeah, there'd probably be some extra additional little details. There'd be something like that. The hunter god is also associated, again, with like more of the celestial realm, the stars, the sky, the sun specifically. So you can imagine how that correlation would be made with that mark specifically, and then you can get the different fingerprints over here. And then to reinforce it, it would probably be 2 circles in circling one another. So that ultimately would represent the hunter god. And then, yeah, if they could, they'd maybe do that in a different color. But that's just me. That's just me messing around. And then that would be the image used if they were telling a story that like centered the hunter god. So one of the legends of the hunter god. And I've just been calling them story masks. It's the most accurate name for them. Ooh, can I draw a cat? They wouldn't have cats. But for sure, I can. We've already got Ian Nazir's wonderful copper. Let's see. Quick little sketch, and then we'll go back to ancient littering. Yeah. It wasn't as much of a big deal back then, you must understand. It was a product of the time. I do like cats with intense stares. I do feel like Tala would not trust cats initially. Simply because she's used to feline creatures trying to eat her. I can't believe Tala is responsible for climate change. Yeah. You gotta understand, 30,000 years of littering, it catches up with you. Ooh, a birch bark mask with its natural eye spots sounds sick. Sorry, I'm not yawning, you're yawning. I can only say that so many times. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, a beautiful irony is that you're kind of happy that, like, all the cultures didn't give a single shit about, you know, leaving no marks. It's the fact that they did. It's like they you know, essentially graffitied on every cave wall they found, and they made marks and left behind pieces of themselves that we could find later on. Litter, if left alone long enough, just becomes history. But still, you shouldn't litter. Our history is not that great. It's mostly just It's just plastic. And that's gonna last longer. There's enough of that out there. You don't need to leave anything for anyone to find. They're gonna find it. Gonna give it a little smile. Those darn servants of the wild god, yeah. Yeah, I don't trust them. They're small, but they're tricking you. Trying to get let into the house so they can eat you. Oh, there we go. Little guy. Little stray. I'm not sure if it counts as an object, though. Tala throws trash on the ground to leave history behind. Dog Tala cleans the floor like a clanker and erases history. Oof. Oof. I watched a whole, not video, like an impromptu video essay, of two guys talking about like how very dark the whole clanker trend became and how quickly it became it. So I don't know how I feel about that anymore. Which is a pity because I really like the idea of an insult for AI, but the fact that it immediately just became like the word people were using was slur. So I don't know. It's gotten a little bit muddy. It's gotten a little bit ick. What you gonna do? The cat stays outside. No, don't apologize. It's not your fault or anything. It's genuinely just it was a fun thing and then it got ruined by some people taking it too far, which is again, that's also just something that just happens, which is a little bit sad. Because again, like I didn't mind it. I thought it was funny. I really like that we have kind of this growing sort of like not outright hostility, but like AI is not very popular amongst like the average person. Not the average person, the average online person, I should say. So yeah, what you gonna do? Hi there on Twitch. Welcome. We are drawing objects and creatures. This is an object. It was a requested object. Hi. Tala, I hate cats and Mortal Court saying pss, pss, pss to a cat. No, it was me. I went back in time and did all that. Oh, I see. My mistake. So that is something you should be apologizing over. We must reclaim the term clanker as referring to AI. Yeah. I mean, it always was referring to AI. It's just not to be that one friend that's too woke. Oh, have I been doing art long? Pretty much most of my life, but I think I only got good a couple years back. And good is in very heavy quotes. Let's see. It's an object because cats don't have souls, only mischief. I mean, if you say so. Did people start using it as a replacement for another word? Kinda. It was the Rosa Sparks one kind of ruined all of the fun I could have potentially had with any of it. Because that was like very on the nose. Like it specifically, like Americans started referring to they started like likening it to like 1950s Jim Crow era actual racism, and it was like, okay, well, this is just a little bit distasteful. Yeah, anyway. it's unfortunate. Oh, I was debating on getting into it again, but I keep getting into it, losing interest, and then getting back into it. That's okay. I mean, that's kind of just what hobbies are, aren't they? It's just there's no pressure to like keep sticking at something forever, especially if it's not something like in the moment you want to do or feel like doing. Absolutely. Art should be something you do when you want to do it. Unless you're me, who's done it as like, who's now decided to make a career out of it. That would be crazy. Jana, if art is something you want to do, you should do it because you're passionate about it. And if you go through periods where you want, that's not something you should feel ashamed of or should further prevent you from enjoying it, because that's just silly. I say silly, but like something a lot of people do. You said it first, to be honest. I did. It was before I learned about all that other stuff. Yeah, this is my formal apology. I did not understand the error of my ways. It was before I learned about all the other stuff about it. It sucks. It happens often, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah. Draw Tala watching a nature documentary on an old CRT TV. I can draw an old CRT TV, so we can stick a little bit to the theme. Let's see if I can draw this from memory. I'm not as good at drawing man-made objects that are like designed to be very perfect. So very rectangular, very flawless in their design, mass-produced. Yes, I am making excuses, but shh. Oh, do you know what I want? Okay, after the stream. I made lemon bars a few days ago, and they're almost finished, but I have just enough. So I'm gonna have them after the stream. I'm gonna binge. Oh, by breaks I don't mean like 1 to 2 weeks, I mean like months upon months. I did have a good 6 months of doing it daily, but I didn't get very far. I mean, yeah. But again, it's the length of time shouldn't be a huge issue. It's something you should feel free to do for the rest of your life. And in that perspective, 6 months isn't that long. I don't know. It's something that I think we kind of normalize today, where it's when you get into something, you're expected to do it all the time, every day, and make it a part of your personality or a part of yourself in a very strong way. You know, like when kids get into like gymnastics, that's like something that you then do like a huge amount during your childhood. Or some kids get into soccer, or some kids get into horse riding, and that's like something that you're expected to make a part of yourself and make a big aspect of your life. And as you get older, it's a lot harder to maintain that sort of stuff, so a lot of people just don't, and then they feel like that's no longer a part of themselves, and it's something that has now been lost to them, or that they left behind. And I don't think it should really be seen that way. Something that you have, or something that brings you enjoyment, should never be seen as something that you can lose, because it never really is. It's always something you can go back to. And again, if you enjoy it, if you get into it, then you get into it and you enjoy it. But if you fall out of it again, that's also fine too. Because you're not really falling out of it, you're just taking an extended break. I say this to all sound very philosophical, don't I? But I do feel that way. Life is life. And life goes on much, much longer than you think it does. I say this as a very young person. Maybe I shouldn't say that. This is what TV and this is looking more like Tenma from Deltarune as we go. What would a nature documentary be? Mm. Tala will be Boomer Tala will never be old. Tala will be a forever young boomer. I've thought about that quite a bit actually, because it is people do get stuck in their ways as they get older. So like, she probably would end up with like some very firm like things she would never budge on just because that's the way you do it. But I also think if you give it enough time, she'll grow out of that. Like, no, that's the way you do it. But then, like, 2,000 years passes and she's like, oh, well, yeah, fair enough. I did think that way when I was a young lass of 15k, didn't I? Tala should invent the world's first falafel. If you like. That... There we go. Done. Canon. Falafel maker Tala. I love it. Let's see. I was looking through papers and then I got distracted. Let's see. Oh, we should do a stream where I do spirits. I'll put that in the next one as a recommended option. Because I think that was actually something I wanted, because I want to design a bunch of smaller local like spirits and creatures. Not necessarily ones that you'll find or see, but yeah, that'd be fun. Good night, Elm Tree. Thank you very much for watching and coming and staying. Oh, music instruments. That's a fun one. Ugh, everything's gone topsy-turvy. I've lost the papers. Hang on. Kids these days on their pottery wheel 2,000 years later. Thought I should fire some of this. Why is it too addictive? Yeah, it's just more practical. It's more solid. It lasts longer. There's a finish to it now. So bone whistles, weirdly enough, were a thing. Not super advanced as far as instruments go. Quite literally just like a single bone. And then if you cut out a little widget there. But it's a nice way to to call out, contact, signal, all sorts of things. Not sure what it would actually sound like though. I should see if there's maybe some resources I can find that would help me. So you've got that notch there, and then wind go in, wind go out. You've got the little... I believe that's how it worked. Maybe I should do more research. A creature that exists that you won't see, a massive horseshoe crab at the bottom of the sea. I know! Yeah! Perfect! There we go. Probably would be pretty fun. Yeah, no, but like different kinds of like local smaller spirits. Because that's also part of the concept of them, is that they don't live in a world that just has the two gods and then everything else is defined by logic. It's a lot more chaotic, and because the world they live in is still strange, and there is still a lot of stuff that they have to explain through different ethereal phenomena. Otherwise they wouldn't really be able to understand the world around them. It's a it's a lot more abstract than that. Oh, is it more high or low fantasy? When I think of high fantasy, I know it's a proper definition. I should give you a proper definition of it. I would say it's low fantasy, with the exception of the existence of, you know, these spirits and gods. But it's more to explain the internal logic of the people themselves, rather than to create these actual creatures that will actually affect them. I just have fun drawing little gremlins and goblins and creatures and spirits. But it's also not really set in our world, which would classify it more as high fantasy. It's set in a world extremely similar to ours, with the names changed. So again, that would lend it to more low fantasy. Ooh, yes please. David Garuti, please do. That would be amazing. Only 30,000 VC kids will remember this. It's low fantasy since it takes place in low Doggerland. Yeah, okay. Would it still be low fantasy? Okay, there you go. Yeah, because high fantasy also implies like magic systems. It implies the existence of multiple different like fantastical creatures and this very, yeah, no. So I do want to say low fantasy definitely then. I want it to be rooted in a decent amount of the actual logic as well. How would Tala react to dogs? She also wouldn't trust them, but it would be much less effort to get her to trust them. She wouldn't trust the first one she came across, but by the third, she will be all over them. Will they go through all the Metal Ages, or will they skip some of them through trade? Well, we're going to be going kind of like globe-trotting a little bit, so yeah, we'll probably see all of the ages as they come. Because then that's not satisfying as well to just be like, oh, well, you know, they got access to steel. Look at that iron. Wow. Guess we don't have to worry about discovering that. It's like they're at the Neolithic. Low versus high fantasy should be based off of how different it feels from the real world based on how different it really is. Yeah, that's pretty spot on, because it's low fantasy takes place in or involves the real world, and then high fantasy takes place in a separate world with separate rules. A lot of the stuff, so Biblaridian's Refugium series would be set in high fantasy because it's a completely different system. They don't live on like the way the sun works is completely different. Their day system is completely different. It's fascinating, but it's very high fantasy, and so I think I'm going to keep myself more rooted into realism with a little bit more of a low fantasy route then. Even if the names are all different and and all the people are different. Immortal Silk Road confirmed. Hell yeah! Road trip. Wow, as far as I know, iron smelting was only discovered twice. That's cool. That's very cool. Okay, I think Game of Thrones is low fantasy while still being in a different world. I mean, it's got dragons, it's got the Ice Walkers, but then a lot of the actual storytelling is rooted in very realistic, sort of relationships and the different like historical relationships of like the different characters, the royal families. I don't know. I will admit Game of Thrones was not my cup of tea when it first came out. I'll probably get around to watching the whole thing again. It was just, I was gonna watch it when it ended, but the ending was so bad that it kind of just like took all the wind out of my sails. As far as like wanting to watch it. So I should read the book. I should read the book instead, actually. That would be quite fun. But the books aren't finished either. Oh, on the topic of spirits and whatnot, I'm really interested for when the comic releases and how it tackles them. Are they real or fictional, or are they as real as the characters believe them to be? It's a very good question. You will find out when the comic comes out. I promise. It'll be very easy to determine. Neither of our sources are for college anyways. Where was I? Ah, drum. This is a very simple drum. You get yourself an auroch horn or a bull horn or whatever horn happens to be available at the time. Then you get a stick. Ta-da! You have made a drum. Ta-da! Oh, maybe I'm wrong about this, but don't people only get stuck in their ways because of neuroplasticity reducing as you get older? If Tala's immortal, getting stuck in her ways could actually be... I don't know. I think that might be... I mean, that might be true. That might be realistic. But it's hard to say. It's... Because again, you're dealing with people and you're dealing with... the mental state. Like there is a discussion to be had about like the a reduced mental plasticity, neuroplasticity being a factor in people getting older and people having a harder time adjusting to new concepts, new ideas. But at the same time, I've seen people change very considerably in their later years, in the way that they view the world and their perspective on things. Some for the better, some for the worse, but it's, yeah, I don't know. That's a very good conversation to be had. I think you can make a spec fiction story that isn't fantasy. I am working on a series in which dinosaurs live with humans, and I don't plan on there being magic or races, just good old biology. That's so cool. That reminds me of the Dino City, Dino World series. I loved that as a kid. That's so cool. I say that with the highest compliment. I don't mean to like go like, oh, that's like this thing that already exists. I think that's so cool. I would read/watch the hell out of that. Anything more of that would be so cool. Like different takes on it. Drum. Ooh, unless Tala gets part of her brain damage and has to regenerate them. Yeah. Ooh, tools/weapons did you make a sling? Might be helpful for knocking fruit out of trees and whatnot. That's a great point. I have no clue if that would be something they'd have access to. They would... So, okay, so spears are fine. Bows are outside of their range at the moment. That's a later development. So I imagine slings... in Europe. Huh. It says here slings are more of an Iron Age development. Let me look at a couple more sources before I say for sure. Okay, made out of rawhide. Okay, well this is not a reputable source, but that is very interesting. Oh wow. Okay. Modified stones suggested to... Okay, this is also Wikipedia, so I also can't take this at complete face value. Modified stones suggested to represent ammunition for slings have been reported from the Near East at least as early as the 6th millennium BCE, so that is in the Neolithic. Southern Levant. Okay. I mean, that's interesting, but it also might not be a very old, not as old as what we are dealing with currently, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's what you gotta deal with stuff like this. It would be very useful, but they're gonna have to make do with what they have instead. Don't worry guys, Tala has figured out reverse curse technique. She can repair brain damage. Damn. Wish I could figure that one out. Yeah, no, Iron Age did sound quite late, so yeah, no. I think 6th millennium sounds more reasonable. The AI Google says the possibility of them existing is possible, but legitimate proof is lacking. Yeah. Hey, hi Vincent. We were just discussing if slings were around during the start of Immortal 30-40,000 years ago. So far what we found is that it seems like the 6th millennium, which I think is 5000 BCE, during the Neolithic is when they are first like theorized to have originated from. But yeah, if you've got any points on that. Does Tala, I love the way you phrase that. Does Tala also have unlimited HDD, or will she forgets to as she goes along? Yeah, no, she does not have unlimited HDD. She will forget. Dinotopia, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. God, I love Dinotopia. I'm sure your take on it, David. I'm sure your take will be very, very cool. Good old biology. I love that so much. I used to love the concept of, yeah, dinosaurs and humans. There was also a book in the library when I was a kid, and it was literally just photoshopped images of, or maybe not even Photoshop. Yeah, it was like illustrations, like illustrated dinosaurs or Photoshop dinosaurs or 3D model dinosaurs that have just been placed into random scenes in the modern day. So it was like someone in like a traffic jam because there's a herd of Diplosauruses passing through, and I just thought that was so sick. I love that stuff so much. That's so cool. Yeah. Okay, there's the part of the brain that normally is tasked with memory, so as long as you don't damage that, you could remember things. Yeah, guys, everyone be cool. Vincent's here. I wonder if a cult of Tala would pop up at some point if anyone had a suspicion of their immortality. I played around with that concept a little bit. Definitely not in the Paleolithic, but like later on in the developmental stage. I was thinking something around ancient Greece. Because, you know, that's fairly easy. It's just for a bunch of different cults to pop up around that time. In that specific area. It would be fun. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Far too sleepy. Let's see. What else can we look at? Ignore the stuff up here. That's not canon. Oh, I've got the different biomes, megafauna. But those aren't objects. I've got the ice gauge. That's also not an object. Okay, now we're just getting into the concept art. So, let's see. I think might have to call the stream a little bit early. I'm sorry, gang. I don't know what's going on with me. I mean, not now, but I might have to end it in about half an hour or so. Just yeah, I don't know why I'm so tired. It's a Thursday. I went to bed early last night. Kind of. Almost. I tried. Let's see. Thanks, gang. Sorry about that. Yeah. Ooh, that's what Tala's mid-design is based upon. Her becoming the high priest of her own cult. Yeah, the that concept, yeah. I also just like drawing her in this, like I put her in every outfit that I come up with. She's just my basic model for everything that I draw at this point. So you'll never find out what her storyline is. The first hero confirmed. Oh, the little guy on this. Okay, hang on. Well, now I have to look at Discord. Let's see. I'll move that over to this. I am looking for the little guy on Discord. 4 XP locked behind premium. Oh, sick! The stone mace hit. Stick go through. Yeah, that makes sense. Stick through hole. Ah, that's so cool. Okay, I think I might change the. But those are ground tools, aren't they? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm scrolling. Little ceramic creature. Ceramic from an Overwatch comic of all places. Oh, those are cute. I'm gonna say... Oh, I have no clue when these are. Ah, the little ball. Okay. I'm gonna do the ball. I love the ball. The ball is adorable. Weekly streams catching up to you? Not really. They're not that stressful. I enjoy them. I don't know. I have been a little bit like I said, I've been a little bit off this week. I don't know. I'll have to spend this weekend like staring at a wall. Oh, it could be I've changed my... This is so dumb. When I went to Comic-Con, you know, the place we had to like go to a different city, and did not think ahead, did not bring coffee from home, and so we got like some really cheap coffee, just from you know, the shop, and small thing, cheap coffee, whatever. It's like we're there for the weekend, but then it felt like a waste to just throw it away, and then we didn't leave it behind, so we just took it home, and now we have this coffee that's kind of really not great tasting and also a bit weaker than the coffee I'm used to. But we're just like I'm just slowly drinking my way through it. And it's just, I don't know, maybe that's it? I've been feeling a little wonky. Just this week though, so that doesn't make sense because it's been about 3 weeks. So maybe I'm just making an excuse to complain about my coffee. Do you like anime? Of course I do. Can't you tell? Nah, I love anime. It's sick. I am currently watching The Summer Hikaru Died as it releases, which I'm so excited about. Every week it's amazing. And then at the same time, I'm also watching season 2 of Dandadan, because I really like Dandadan. This is very cool done. This is very interestingly done. It's always morally correct to complain about coffee. Weak coffee. Just because I drink like 3 cups of coffee a day. That's like a normal amount. Do I write? I write a little bit. Mostly in service of like comic making and art. Drawing specifically. But yeah, no, I like to think I'm fairly okay at writing. Don't worry, gang. That short story will be out soon, and by soon I mean next year. Whenever I have the time. Maybe. I need to stop promising things. Let's see things as explanations rather than excuses. Too true, too true. Whoa. Anime is a godsend for artists. I almost gave up on anime. And then I almost gave up on art and then I found anime. I'm not doing these lines very neatly. They're supposed to... They essentially look like lines or patterns, but I've done them in such a way that they look a little bit more like texture work. Okay. And then of course you cannot forget the I wonder what this was for. Is it for offerings, incense holder? It's very interesting. I love the Tell me, what was it for? Yeah, 3 copies is a normal amount. Thank you. I am correct. Now, why are people outing me in the comments? Just because I make coffee at midnight and 1 AM. That one time doesn't even count. If it's one time, it doesn't count, okay? Oh my god. Oh my god. Fucking Kinta is just the greatest character and I hate him so much. He's just... it is a love-hate relationship. I really like the way they introduced him in the anime versus the manga, because I after I watched season 1 I like gave in and I read the whole manga, and just the way that they introduce him immediately just makes him so much more likable than what he is in the manga. Because in the manga he sort of have to like he has to redeem himself sort of, but just the way that they should, just a little bit of more like information of him like that you get from the introduction of him in season 2. It's just, it's great. And 10-gallon wiener, yes. Oh, if Tala's group is from sort of Europe, do they have any mythology around bears? I've heard that we no longer have the original name for bears because ancient people feared using their true name. That's sick! I love that! I love that. I love when people are too afraid to use the real names of the things that they're afraid of. They did that with a specific, like the Macedonian gods as well in ancient Greece. That was so sick. I love that. Okay, probably, yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah. They do, and specifically cave bears as well, since odds are if you like want to find shelter in a cave, you can't because there's a cave bear there. But yeah, I put a lot of my eggs into the feline basket, so more like Smilodons and stuff. So they aren't as big of a factor in the early chapters. Well, early parts of the comic. Arcs, I should say. Taking a year is not that bad for a comic, I guess. It is when it's a short comic and it's only a few pages long and it's really, really not good. Like when I was in high school, I was knocking out like twice that content in half the time, and that's not even an accomplishment because it took me way too long to make this. It took like the fact that it's gonna be finished hopefully very soon is diminished by the fact that it took so long to make. Like I am very embarrassed by how long it took, so I am sorry, gang. It's also a very bad sign since I'm planning on the actual comic to take to be like many more pages, ideally something along the line of 38 per issue, and if that's the case, we are never gonna see the end. It's never gonna be finished. It's gonna have to be a full-time job for me to do it within any reasonable length of time, which is what I'm working on currently, so we will see. So hope's not over yet, but yeah, something I've been chewing on for a while, clearly. Okay, we don't actually know where exactly the word bear comes from, but brown is one of the reconstructed possible etymologies. Ah, that's so cool. Oh, thanks. You guys are all honestly far too nice. Thank you very much. I promise I don't say this stuff to be able to like wrangle you know, like platitudes from you guys. Yeah. Thank you all very much. A bear god being a seasonal god would be neat. Ah, mild fear of the end of winter, knowing this evil would come out of hibernation. Ah, a summer devil. That'd be sick. Don't be so harsh on yourself, Tumblr artist. I don't post my stuff on Tumblr, I post it on YouTube. But I am very much a Tumblr artist at heart, I suppose. Okay, I posted a little bit of stuff on Tumblr. Let's see. I like this YouTuber intro music. That is kind of mean to say. Bombastic side eye. Look at him go. My boy. Fear of the spring spirit with the munchies. Ah. Oh, but would people fear a longer winter more or fear the bears more? Oh, it's just a lose-lose. Ah. Bombastic side-eye. We proudly serve the cult, we care for the cult leader. Thank you, thank you. There are benefits to being a cult leader. And luckily I'm the kind of one that doesn't ask you to ignore modern medicine and forgo any kind of science. For now. There's dead silence after that. It's a very complex object. For no reason. It's very cool. I wonder what this... if there is any symbolism behind the... behind the patterns. Probably not, but also maybe yes. That's also a good question. Bib asked that while we were doing the architecture stream. It's like, where, at what point, like, do things become arbitrary? That's an awesome question. I wish I could tell. And that's the tricky part, isn't it? It's one of those things where you want there to be a very solid answer, but there usually isn't. It could be for aesthetic, it could be for religious purposes, it could be because the artist wanted to. Fuck you. This looks like terrible. I guess it was the first time I was doing it, so it's a little bit more forgivable, but still. You can always prepare for a longer winter, but bears are unbearable. Ah, sorry. Good cult leader RNG? Hell yeah. Exactly. I'm so cool, you guys. I would never ask you to do anything you didn't want. It was always your idea in the first place. It's just the mind games are for your own benefit. It's enrichment. I did try to start a pyramid scheme on the Discord that one time, but guys, that wasn't me. That was Dark Tala. Oh, from what I know about Etruscan art, this seems to be purely for aesthetic, as opposed to like figures of animals, humans, etc. and art which very much existed. That's so sick. I love that. That's cool. Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you like the VTuber character. It was very fun to set up. And then Meandry, who is a moderator on the Discord, helped me get the desk set up with the little fog stuff on the glass. It's really cool, and it's also randomized, so it never quite does the same thing every time, which is such a neat little like attention to detail thing. I just think it's sick as hell. Tolkien, when people asked him when they didn't just fly the eagles to Mordor. Well, you see, the funny thing is, shut up. Have you seen the new Tom Hardy animation for the song that like he made ages ago? That was specifically about that. Highly recommend watching it. Very funny. Just remember, chat, horses are opportunistic carnivores. Very true, very true. Very true. Did you know? Horses will eat you if they can, and also sharks are very smooth. Super smooth. Very smooth. Silky. Yeah, no, I didn't. The pyramid scheme was out of love. The pyramid scheme was for energy drink, new flavor Tala. Ooh, did you know that there were ostriches that lived in Eurasia from the late Pliocene to early Pleistocene? That is so cool, and I 100% believe it, because there were also hyenas around here, well, in Eurasia as well. That was sick as hell. Most of the megafauna that exists in Africa today had, well, not most of them, but like a decent number had, you know, members of the same genus that lived in Eurasia, and then they unfortunately went extinct at some point at the end of the last maximum, glacial maximum. I think I'm probably remembering that correctly, but I might be smudging some details. Walk! Gold ship just got a lot scarier. Oh my god. Butterflies will drink blood if given the chance. I knew this was a reason. I knew there was a reason we drew this. Blood god. This is the blood god. Blood for the blood god. I think I'm gonna write that down, actually. The butterfly blood god is pretty fun. How would Tala handle warlike cultures like the Sintasha culture? Um, that's a great question. I imagine she would probably deal with them by running. I don't know. If they aren't trying to actively harm her, she'd probably leave them be. Um, just because at a certain point, you get old enough, you know when to avoid a fight. It really bugs me that we have not found any massive anteaters from Pleistocene South America. Pleistocene, sorry. Pleistocene. That is a really good point. And a no, and a yes! Oh, that's so funny. Fall to chaos. Yes! Butterflies are the beautiful side of the wild god. That sounds so sweet. It's so not true, but that sounds so sweet. I love that. This guy would absolutely fall flat on his face. He is very front heavy. And I mean that very endearingly. It's not his fault he's a little chubby in the face. That's so cool. I like that not everything has to be linked to something deeper. It doesn't have to be that deep, bro. I like that things can just be aesthetic. Because it makes sense, right? But so often it feels like they have to have a deeper meaning, especially when you're making things like specifically for fantasy. I like this. I like this very much. Here, little guy. Oh, we already have the sloths and the mega sloths and armadillos. Why can't we complete the holy trinity of big South American weirdos? Big snake, feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl. There are giant anteaters, but they're not giant enough. They gotta be big, big, big. They gotta be people size. You gotta ride them like a horse. But now everyone remember to thank your local giant sloth for avos existing. Your local giant sloth is dead, but it's important to thank them. And remember them every time you eat an avocado pear. God, I love that so much. I love that the only reason we have avos is because they were just so densely packed with nutrition. Specifically for the giant sloths, and then we just kept it going after the giant sloths died out. Ah, that's so sick. My favorite little piece of history. Well, one of my favorite little pieces of history. There's a lot of them. And by God, I will remember the name of none of them. You have to build her. Ooh, there are Roman shields from the late period that has designs very similar to yin yang despite there being no connection. That's so cool. I love that so much. Especially, yeah, the little parallels between like completely unrelated cultures. It's such a small, like insignificant little thing. But when I specifically, when I was trying to like learn Japanese, Gogo is afternoon, but then in Zulu, Gogo is just what you call a grandmother or an older woman. And I think that was like the first time where I was like, oh my god, there's similarities, but they have no relation whatsoever. And I think that's really fun. In the same way that you get like pyramids across the world and there's no relation between them. It was just it's how you stack things. It's how you stack heavy rock. It's the best way to do it so they don't fall down. And then you just get these completely unrelated similarities across cultures. I think that's really cool. We are all the same people. Deep, deep down. Well, not too deep down. All hail, big boy sloths. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is from North America. Oh, my mistake. I'm sorry. You're right. North America. Mexico is North America. My bad. I have a problem with just putting the two together and not defining the difference in my head. It's like America is America, North and South, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be smarter than that. Quetzalcoatl, Quetzalcoatl, Quetzalcoatl. God, I love Quetzalcoatl. Do you know what he was worshipped for? I don't. It's great. He's mysterious. He's edgy. Oh, in North America there used to be bone-crunching skunks. That's so sick. And then there was oh yeah, so you had the cave bears, and then you also had the cave hyenas, I think is actually the proper name for them. Unless I am mistaken. Cave hyenas. Yeah, it was the cave hyena. They were massive. What can I compare them to size-wise? They were the size of... How big is a St. Bernard? I just googled St. Bernard. They're not going to give me size comparisons. Right, yeah. So they were slightly bigger than a St. Bernard. Massive things. And the reason we know that they lived in caves is because we would just find tons of bones. Just tons. Just stashes of bones. Just in caves. I believe, if I'm remembering that right, I'm not mixing up with the cave bear. Yeah, and then they also went extinct around the end of the glacial maximum, or I think during the glacial maximum. Like many of the big beasts of the time. God, they were cool. Oh, so cool. Cave hyenas. Hi. The Quets brought us corn! Woo! Quetzalcoatlus. Oh, thanks, Gold. That's amazing. I look forward to these streams every week too. Ah. No, not the mountain. Come now. St. Bernard the dog. I don't know if they laughed. Wouldn't that be weird if they didn't? And they made a completely different noise? Ah. Okay, so they lived in caves sometimes, but they weren't confined to them. They had open air dens, and then I'm just going through the Wikipedia page. You can... I know it's not... I shouldn't be relying on it, but it is. I'm not going to go deep diving right now. I've given in. I've given up. Oh yeah, they were also active predators instead of scavengers, so they would hunt you. Cave hyenas, they're so cool. Mountain-sized animal would be cool. More of that in Arc 1 of Immortal. Hi. Ooh, do we know how Neanderthals died out, or is it just too far back to have any kind of clear idea? There's a couple of theories. I think the main one at the moment is that they were assimilated into Homo sapiens. So they just interbred until there really weren't any left that could be classified as Neanderthals anymore, and then they just became a part of the bloodline. We say that because there's still like significant traces of them in us today, specifically people from Europe. But then there's also theories that maybe there was a lot of hostility and we hunted them or warred with them to extinction, which is a much less nice idea. There's arguments that it was a little bit of both. So some areas they were extremely hostile and sort of drove them back, and then in other areas they, were a lot more passive, and humans were a lot more, well, Homo sapiens were a lot more passive to them, and they were able to develop relations enough to have offspring and relationships that were a lot more that allowed for assimilation. Might be a hyena with how much she laughs. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I shouldn't have read that one. I know I laugh a lot. It's just me. It's a little bit of nervous laughter. It's a little bit of laughter. Nah, I'm okay. No feelings are hurt. No, she's a Bigfoot. I know, right? Why did all the cool animals have to die just after the Ice Age? Because if they hadn't, we probably wouldn't have reached our developmental height. I'm making shit up when I say that, though. Don't take me on my word for that. Wiped out by the pretty. Yeah, my sense of humor is a little correct. Aw. Awesome! Glad you could finally make it, Allison. Everyone's making fun of my laugh and how much I laugh. It's terrible. It's awful. I'm being victimized. I think about this every night right after I think about Rome, which comes after I think about ancient Greece, which comes after I think about Dirt Rally 2.0. I'm a goose now? When did that happen? Nah, it's okay. No offense. No hurt feelings. We're all good. I'm gonna just a little bit more time. I did say I'd close it up around now. Whoa. Crazy. Sorry, there's... What's this about? Victorian man discovers hyenas. Kirkdale hyena dens. What happens next will shock you. That's fun. I like that. Why are they here? First full account of the cave hyena was given by George Cuvier in 1812. Skeletal fragments have been described in scientific literature since the 18th century, though they were frequently misidentified. Okay. The past presence of hyenas in Great Britain was revealed after William Buckland's examination. Ah, there he is. Examination of the contents of Kirkdale Cave, which was discovered to have once been the location of several hyena den sites. Buckland's findings were followed by further discoveries by Cliff and Whitby in Orriston, Plymouth. In the 1770s. Oh, so this is just an interpretation. So they're like, oh yeah, no, he found bones. They've shown him discovering the actual living. That's fun. I like that. Just mislead people for no reason. Puma Zuma humor is brain rotten, yeah. I am a bit brain rotted. I am on the internet a little too much for my own good. Ah. You don't understand, you have to have the Chad mindset to understand the review. Oh shit, guys, you don't have to feel bad. It's okay, guys. I like my laugh. I think I'm okay. I think it would be a lot more awkward if it was just me not reacting or like making any noise at all for like 3 hours. I think that would be a lot worse. I'm very happy with my laugh. It's okay. Oh, and modern versions of hyenas living in caves with the bones of their cave hyena cousins. Ah, that is cool. Or it's like, yeah, it's similar to the Naledi site where the deeper into the burrow that they go, the older the ancestors get, and then eventually they find the bones of the cave hyenas. It's just like a little story. It's a little short one. I could do that. I could make that. It would be like a page long. It wouldn't be too fun. A little poem. Don't talk about brain rot. Tala probably enjoys old-timey Illuminati memes. She sees some stuff on a cave wall and just thinks it's the funniest shit she's ever seen, and no one knows what the fuck she's laughing at. It's just completely, we're going like 400 levels deep of like conceptual understanding. Lost in translation times a million. Oh, oh, that's cool. Oh, it's really sweet that some of you are trying to like make me laugh as well, make everyone else laugh as well. No, that's fun. That's what makes this fun. This is why I enjoy this every week. It's a fun time. Everyone's laughing. Except for Jerry. Damn Jerry. Carla fizzing at the mouth hearing a 500th Among Us joke? Oh god. Carla gets lost in a cave hyenas. Thousands of years later, she somehow gets lost in the same cave, only this time it's filled with spotted hyenas. That'd be so fun. I don't know if cave hyenas were in the same area as like were they also in Africa? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oh. Yeah, I'm okay. You're Jerry, for the last time, you just stop breaking people's necks. Jerry just wants to laugh too. That's not laughter. That's Jerry yelling because he wants attention. Speaking of jokes, you know that one Egyptian bar joke? I'll wait for the punchline very patiently. I'm glad you love Jerry. Jerry needs someone to love him because I don't. Okay. I will wait for the punchline very patiently, as I said. And then I think we will properly call it. I think we've done a decent amount. I've broken down most of the objects that like are gonna appear commonly enough throughout the story. The thing about scrapers and knives are that they're very universal. They can be used for many different things, so they will be used for most things. The spear's very common, the hooks are fairly neat. Snares I still haven't designed because the concept of snares scares me. I have to learn how they work before I can draw any, so I've been putting that up a little bit. And notice me senpai. No, Jerry is the bane of my existence. You go outside and it is so shrill, and you go back inside and now your ears are ringing because Jerry is just that loud. That is, you forget that this isn't just him outside the window. This is him in me, my life, I live here. I hear him all the time, every day. Oh, there's no punchline. It was a joke archaeologists found when it was a dog going into a bar and saying something like, "It's dark in here, I'll take this one." Right, I thought that was ancient Mesopotamia. Oh, from ancient Mesopotamia. Like it was it was like the first translated joke. Ah, and then wasn't it and then they like found a way to kind of translate it, but not really. Huh. The concept of bolas. Bolas would be fun. Ooh, they would be fun, because then because then that would be pretty plausible, wouldn't it? You need string, sinew, and then you just tie that around 2 stones. Ah, but was it European? I'm sure it wasn't. Ah. Okay, so also South or North American? Huh. Okay. So it's yeah, a New World thing. So I can't really find a proper date for him. That's cool though. Maybe I will think on it. Because that's the thing. If I include stuff like that, um, it's from a different continent. It's not very close to like the actual history of it. So I have to find either a logical reason for it to be that way, or I have to uh, basically be able to logic it out in a way where it makes sense for them to have developed that technology, or maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to mix and match and like trample over, you know, where things actually were found and because it's like not too consequential now because we're so far in the past, but like as time goes on it's going to get a little bit muddy. So I want to stick to at least the continents where things were found in, if not the cultures that found them. So yeah, I'll think on it. All crickets are crying out for their senpai. Oh, I could be remembering wrong. I could be remembering wrong too. We could both just be just two guys standing. What's the meme? Just two girls standing in a room going at each other exactly. Fuck. It's so funny. I can't remember the quote. I can't quote it properly though. Bolas is a Spanish name. Yeah, that also makes sense. Yeah, it is two rocks and a rope, so it would be, in theory, very doable. Smilodons are American? Are they? I might be using the wrong name, but I'm thinking of the same, genus. Smilodon... Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of a different saber-toothed tiger. Specifically, like of that kind of concept. But it's a different member of the family. It's one in Europe? Saber-tooth. Yeah, so they did have European variants. They just weren't called Smilodons, so I am sorry about that. I'll have to go back to my I'll go back to my scripts and find out what their actual names were. Ah, well. Just Sabercat, yeah. Smilodons when they meet Frownodons. Yeah, it was just Smilodons was the one that stuck in my brain, so that's just the one that I've been using. But I've been using them as like a catch-all term for Sabercat. Yeah, Sabercat's just, yeah. Because I know saber-tooth tiger, like, isn't the real proper name for them. And even if they were, it's like a huge family of different species. Homotherium is the name. Is it now? Hang on, I gotta Google something. Ah, there they are. Not as impressive looking. No, okay, no, the concept art's pretty fun. Oh, big boys. Oh, massive, look at them. Yeah, no, they're sick. They're sick. I think there was also, I was looking for like the largest species of them that I could find as well. And then I did just get all my names mixed up completely. So I do apologize for that again, yeah. That is a bit embarrassing. The sound of summer. Will Tala meet Bronze Age Agamemnon? I have to do research on Agamemnon, because the name is familiar, but I cannot remember what they did. Maybe. Saber-tooth tiger isn't the real name? Yeah, no, it's like a nickname. It's it doesn't describe a single species, it describes like a group. Yeah, saber-tooth cat is more accurate, yeah. It's a when you say tiger, I think people think of the, you know, well, I at least think of the Ice Age movies. A full wildlife stream. I could do that, just a research stream into all the wildlife. That'd be really fun. I just talk about hyenas the whole time. None of them are actual tigers, yeah. A smilodon. With all her laughing, Hannah could be considered a smilodon. Ah! I'm so sorry. I know. Fake OSP fan. I know. I'm actually making my way through their works, their videos again. Not from the beginning. I should do it from the beginning. Like, every couple days I watch a bunch and then I carry on with my day. And then I repeat the process. Oh, the mummified cub was a homotherium. Oh, that's so cool. It's Agamemnon, isn't it? First video. Oh no, I really am just there. I didn't say I was going in order. We've done this before. I don't remember anything. Have I said homotherius or homotherium? Oh no, it's all falling apart. It's too late. I'm gonna have Diego the Sabertooth. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I know. I've made a fool of myself one too many times, and now I am afraid I must leave. But thank you all. Thank you all very, very much. I will see you next week, Thursday again. We will have a poll on time, properly, on Friday. And it will run through the weekend. It's on the Patreon for anyone who is on the Patreon. And then yeah, I'll put up a spirit stream, and then we'll have a wildlife stream in the as an option for the next one. I think that's fun. If I remember, I will probably remember. Maybe, mayhap, maybe. Smilodon is a genus? Of course it is. I know. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting all the names and getting everything wrong, and I was very bad at biology. And I could never remember the order of species, genus, phylum, etc, etc, etc. I'm sure that's not even in the right order, the three that I said. Please remind me if I fail to post the poll, yeah. Thank you all very much. Awesome spending this time with you as always. Yeah. Okay. And bye-bye.